Good morning, everybody. I hope this video vlog finds you well. I'm just popping in today because I wanted to share something with you. I didn't know whether you knew or whether any of you had made any New Year's resolutions this year, because I know every year in January it's a time for people to make New Year's resolutions about things that they want to achieve. So, what I see or what I often hear is that I want to stop smoking, or I want to get fitter, or I want to lose weight, I want to stop drinking alcohol, um, I want to keep a tidier house, I want to be nicer to my partner. um, any number of things that we sort of get to, we kind of lead up to January the 1st and we think, right, this is my time, I'm going to make this change. And I don't know whether you know, but today, January the 17th, is apparently National Ditch Your Resolutions Day, because statistically speaking, it's been researched that those of us that make New Year's resolutions quit on this day. It's the most popular day to quit and say, no, bollocks to that, I'm not doing it anymore. Now, some of you may be within your resolutions and some of you may be doing really well, and that's fantastic. But I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about making New Year's resolutions and what that means for you. And what that means for us really as women collectively. I think, like when we are bombarded with messages in the new year about new year, new you, and get fit, and everyone joins the gym and they're trying to create change in their life, they're coming from a place of not feeling good enough where they are right now. And society perpetuates this, make your New Year's resolutions. And I don't think it's a well-known fact that today most people give up. And I know in the past when I've tried New Year's resolutions, it's because I've been thinking I'm not good enough as I am in that moment. And so I'm trying to attain a goal which I believe is outside of me. And of course, it kind of works for a while. Like, it might have been that I drink loads of water. And so every day I'm drinking my 2 litres of water, or whatever I've decided is like the perfect amount of water. And like within a few weeks, I might be really hydrated. I'm feeling very proud of myself. But ultimately, my experience is, good morning, Karen. Lovely for you to join me. My experience is that even though I've been really hydrated, I've still felt a low level sense of something missing or not feeling good enough. And so it's not the thing that I was trying to attain. So the drinking water for me in that instance, that was never going to get me to where I thought I needed to be, because there was nowhere for me to be. And I was looking in the wrong place. I was looking downstream. And when I do the work with my clients and I do the work in my groups, I'm trying to point people upstream. I'm trying to point you to something bigger, something greater, because of who you truly are is just so much more than you think. It's so much more than you give yourself credit for. So if you have made a New Year's resolution, share it with the group, share it on the thread. But if you have made it and you're sticking to it, then that's fantastic and well done. But if you have made one and you're believing that it's going to get you to a point, that you're going to be happy when you get to that point, I want you to know that those kind of goals, those sort of toxic, if you like, outside in goals, are never going to work. And we end up really berating ourselves. So if you've gotten to this point, you've made your resolution on the 1st of January and you've already given it up, or you're at the point where you're like struggling with it, what tends to happen is we start slagging ourselves off. Oh, here we go again. You haven't done it again. God, you're crap. What's the point? And we make it mean something about us. And we have this kind of narrative, this negative narrative that goes round and round, which feels very heavy. And it feels like Groundhog Day because, without New Year's resolutions or, the intention to do something different, pretty much all year round, a lot of us are walking around with this low level buzz. I was talking to a client the other day and I sort of described it like a fly around shit. Or, like in the summer when you've got flies everywhere and they're really annoying and there's this low level buzz. It's a bit like that in our mind with this sort of low level negative narrative. It's just there all the time as soon as we wake up and as we go to bed. And a lot of us have different kind of flavors of thinking, like for some of us, it might be around food. And for some of us, it might be around what we think we look like and how we feel in our clothes and how we feel in our body. And for some of us, it might be we had a drink last night, and so we spend the day berating ourselves about the fact that we had a drink. And then, of course, 6 o'clock comes, or whatever time is your time that you look at on the clock that you become sensitive to. Then we'll have a drink, and then the whole process starts again. And it's always this: I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. So I know, like, in terms of how society perpetuates this in January. I don't believe in the New Year, New You thing. I believe that you were already enough as you were last year and the year before that and the year before that. And that each year that you continue to grow and develop, you're just getting stronger and stronger and more resilient. And we just don't give ourselves enough credit for what we've achieved, who we are, what we give to the world. And if I'm really honest with you, because of this move that I've done this week, and I haven't been very well, I have been really hard on myself this week, and I've felt like I couldn't kind of come out of my house or just kind of be who I am, because I've just been incredibly hard on myself, and I've been listening to that voice, that negative voice, and it became a bit overwhelming until I caught sight of, actually, this isn't true. And I really looked at and had to think about, what have I achieved in the last year alone, let alone like my whole life. And I think we're so quick to judge ourselves negatively and so quick to believe the familiar negative voice of our ego that we hardly ever talk to ourselves from a place of love. And what got me thinking about that was, this time last year, I had a dream, one of many I have, but I wanted to create a podcast. And all year I've been working on this podcast, and it's now up on iTunes, and I haven't told anyone about it. I've just been really like, I don't know if I should put it out there. I'm crap. I'm this. And I looked at it, and there's like 16 episodes on there, and I thought, look what you've done. Look what you've done, look what you've created, and look at this amazing group that you've created, and look at these amazing women that are in your group who are so supportive of each other and so kind and so generous with their time and their wisdom. And I just thought, maybe it's time to cut yourself some slack, but also to remember that those negative, arbitrary thoughts that we have of not being good enough, they will pass. They're not true, and they will pass. So I'm now starting to come out a little bit of that funk that I was in, but I also know that it was never going to be permanent. And it's just a case of remembering who we are at our core and what we have to offer the world. So if you have made a New Year's resolution and it's gone by the wayside, please don't listen to that voice which tells you that you're not good enough and that, oh, here we go again, because that just keeps us in this kind of stuck cycle, and those voices are just not who you are. Those thoughts are not who you are, and those thoughts don't even belong to us. We personalize them because they're in our mind, our conceptual mind, but they're not who we are. So remember that. I've remembered it this morning. I've had 3 or 4 days in a kind of difficult place, which I'll talk about a bit more, I think, on another video. But I wanted to just come in this morning and say, it's National Ditch Your Resolutions Day, so you're not alone if you have made one. But secondly, there's nowhere for you to get. You're just perfect as you are right now. And drinking more water or getting fitter, they're all great things. They're all brilliant things, but they're not going to fulfill a void which you think is there, because it's within you. It's all within you. So that's all I wanted to say to you this morning. Thank you for listening if you listened. Say hello if you're watching later, or if anything resonates with you, please let me know on the thread. I've kept this to within this group. And I will talk to you soon. Wishing you lots of love today, and you are enough. Ciao.